In 2020, Amazon stock surged 76% higher. In 2021, not so much. At the end of 2021, Amazon shares were up only about 5%. During the same time frame, the S&P 500 was up about 27%. Is Amazon going to miss out again? Maybe, maybe not. At least one stock analyst thinks Amazon will be a $4,500 stock in 12 months. So, let's take a look. The bull case for Amazon stock is based on the company's cloud computing business, not the e-commerce business. As the economy reopens, Amazon should be one of the biggest beneficiaries of accelerating digital transformation. Amazon Web Services saw a revenue increase of 39% year over year in the third quarter of 2021. This was the third consecutive quarter of accelerating growth. One complaint is that Amazon's profitability is extremely suppressed compared to its long-term potential. And this is because Amazon continues to invest in its overall business. As an example, Amazon's fulfillment network has nearly doubled by the end of the third quarter of 2021 compared to before the pandemic began. Without considering this, a profitability valuation metric like a price-to-earnings ratio would appear inflated. Don't let that fool you. So is Amazon a buy? Well, let's take a look. We're looking at a 20-year monthly chart on Amazon.com, and the symbol is AMZN. For disclosure purposes, I do not hold any shares of Amazon at this time. And looking at this chart, say going back to 2010 and on up through here, you can see it's been on a pretty nice run all the way through there to the current time frame. Now, the stock hasn't moved much in 2021, but 2022 might be a little bit different. Let's take a look here. We have a bottom trend line that's been moving up throughout the last year. And then the top trend line, let's just draw it, say, through here, more or less. Now, what's happening is that we have this wedge, and the stock price is moving upward toward that pinch point, which is going to be, say, perhaps in the late first quarter 2022, maybe into the second quarter of 2022. Now, to answer the question, is Amazon a buy? Well, maybe not right now, but let's take a look at the oscillators because I think the future is going to be very interesting. Moving into volumes, not telling us too much. Here into the MAC. A couple of interesting things here. You can see that the last time that we were near that zero line was back in 2015. Since then, we've gone up through here, this trend line moving on up. So we're well elevated above that zero line right now. The fast line is coming on down and has been since the beginning of 2021. And the slow line also, the red slow line, has been coming down as well. And yet the price has stayed relatively level, traded sideways for the most part. So it hasn't shown a lot of weakness. So back here to the MAC, if the fast line and the slow line do what they did here in early 2020 with that bottom and basing and then move off, it could be a very interesting 2022. Let's go back up to the price chart and look at that time frame. Here was that bottoming and basing and then the move on up. Now, it may not go ballistic like it did during that time frame, say in 2020, but we are elevated and there's a lot of strength behind this stock. So just watch this. I think in the next quarter or two, it's going to reveal itself a little bit more and you'll have a better idea. But right now, into the histogram, you can see that things are continuing to drop. It's been dropping quite a bit since, say, early 2020. But I think that's going to reverse perhaps in not too long, in a few months or so. And into the price rate of change, you can see that first bounce off at the zero line. And is it going to make a move like that on up? We don't really know as of this time because we're still under the slow line. This fast line is still under the slow line. So I think we have a bit of sideways trading, and some sawtoothing is going to have to occur before we actually do get a nice bottom and base. But we're above that zero line, which is important. Here in the RSI, we're at a moderate 55.85, but it still looks pretty good there, as well as in the stochastic and in the Williams. But let's take a look at something else that's very interesting. Going all the way back here to 2006, we have this trend line linking all the bottoms of those moves in the Williams, and you'll see it in the other oscillators. Same thing here with the stochastics. This trend line is moving up through there into the relative strength, somewhat the same starting in 2008, moving on up like that. And then of course the MAC. So those are all very interesting oscillators showing a tremendous amount of strength. So if the MAC is able to turn up and first bottom and base and then turn up, it could be an explosive move in the price. So let's just continue to watch that through here the next several months or so into perhaps the second quarter and see what happens, because I think some fireworks may happen once we get closer to the pinch point of this wedge, and if the MAC actually continues to evolve as it did before. And for today, that's ChewDog Charts. Thank you.